it all. Oh, well, that's.
That might come.
She didn't really want.
Yes.
No, I think I'm just going to, try to just work with you, so. You do it before I win. No, but you're going to plan something.
Trying to think of ones, oh, yeah, I can't remember. Which meeting was lowest?
Okay. 7:03. I will call to order this first regular monthly meeting of the Village of Friendsburg Board of Trustees. Deputy Mayor Carver is excused for the evening. Everyone else is here. Do we have any changes to the agenda?
No. No.
Additions, subtractions, hopefully no multiplications. If there are no changes to the agenda, we'll move on to our consent agenda. We did have one change in the abstract. So if you're looking at the abstract in the Dropbox, look at abstract number 12 updated. There was an item we were invoiced on, I forget what service it was for the fire department, which Chief Taylor said not to pay because they've actually changed vendors. So we were billed erroneously. So we have an updated abstract totaling in the general fund $262,503.04. We have EMS billing abstract totaling $13,816.43. The water fund abstract totaling $29,100.83. And a sewer fund abstract totaling $28,808.50. And last but not least, trust and agency totaling just $3,060.77. As well, we have meeting minutes from April the 8th and April the 22nd. So I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented and amended.
Mhm.
So moved.
I'll second.
And a second, any comments, questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Which takes us right to our first public comment period. Janice, you can take the microphone with you if you'd like.
Yeah.
Don't know that it's.
Then that recording. Okay.
Phones.
Hey, I had a couple of questions. Who handles how do they read the water and sewer bill?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
How-
This thing.
Okay,
blowing.
how are the sewer and water meters read? You know?
Sewer, there's no meter. It's a flat
Right, it's-
charge.
okay.
Water, I think all of them at this point, there may be one or two holdouts, but almost all of them are radio read.
Radio? Well, I
So-
think there's a problem with it because in January and February, where there were 7 people in our house, and it was around 7,000 gallons. And then in March and April, it was only me, and it was almost the exact same reading. Something's not right there.
So if you have a bill issued, just check with Jessica.
Okay,
They do, so the radio reads, they actually drive around.
Yeah.
And it's a handheld reader. So if there's an issue, they can check it manually as well.
okay, all right. Then I wanted to know if there was any news about the sidewalk on 96. I know you had a grant proposal for that. Nothing.
It's DOT. I think it's Safe Routes to School, actually, which is a federal grant program. So that doesn't, I don't know that they award those before September, October.
Okay,
My recollection, it's early fall.
but this was over a year ago, right? When you applied for it?
Application just went in.
Oh, you were
Beginning
just,
of this year.
you were just discussing it before. Okay. And any update on the garbage tags? Because it seems to be a hot issue in town.
Garbage tags are available at the Sure Save and Main Street Market.
Uh-huh.
We will not have them available in the village office until July 1st.
Okay, I didn't even
So
know that.
folks can purchase them at Sure Save Main Street Market or directly from Redline.
Okay,
Call or email and they will mail the tags to the individual. And as well, Redline is going to accept Casella tags for the month of June only.
okay, because that's what people were wondering if they could still use those.
We will have a mailer going out this week.
If the board so wishes, yes.
We'll have just a postcard mailer going out this week for the,
I think that would be helpful because there's 11 stories about what's happening.
yeah. You know, it's, yeah, well, we're gonna have that go out to the handful of people who don't have access to the village website, but
Well, or don't look at it. There's more.
will they look at the mailer though?
Yeah, yes.
And if anybody's listening now, I needed garbage tags and I just put out on the village site.
Uh-huh.
Does anybody want to sell their garbage tags if they have too many? And somebody did sell me a sheet.
Okay,
So
to carry you till,
carry me till, the new ones kick in. So
okay,
I encourage everybody to just put their feelers out and instead of going to the store, if you can find a friend or a neighbor that has tags they want to unload, it's pretty easy
yeah, there's a lot of people. I
to
think,
get
yeah,
people, yeah.
To do them. I think I would. So I'm gonna run out, but I'll just then buy for June from Redline
Yes.
at the store.
The store,
grocery
Main Street
store.
Market, or contact them directly.
Yeah.
There is, I don't know the details. I don't know what the pricing is gonna look like at the Sure Save. The Sure Save does have the right, I guess, to charge a markup on tags. So that's
Okay.
something just to be aware of.
And what, it's $1.10 per tag,
It's going to be $1.30.
or
Per tag.
$1.30. I thought I read.
Tag prices actually, and I was gonna have an update, but I'll give it now.
Okay, all right.
Tag prices are set by Tompkins County.
Oh, okay.
And the tag prices cover the dumping fee at the county waste management
All right.
dump site. So they have a poundage minimum. So I think it worked out to $1.29.5 or something like that. So $1.30 per tag.
Now, other people have been asking if you put out just one big garbage can, you only have to use one, or is that per bag
It's by weight
by weight? And
By
the guy
weight.
who's picking it up determines that?
as best they can.
Yeah, that's the,
So,
Okay.
I mean, I don't know that anyone can tell the difference between 20 pounds and 22.
Yeah,
But there's a big difference between 20 and 50.
Right.
So yeah, so by weight, if it's, large garbage bag or, the problem with cans, I'm told, is that tags become detached and then they don't have to take the garbage.
Mhm.
But I think everyone can use their best judgment as to
Okay.
whether to attach it to the bag or the can, but it is a weight issue, not a
it's
not a
weight.
unit
Right.
issue.
Yeah. Well, I know with recycling, if you put something in there, they'll give you a little sticker that tells you why they didn't take it. But once they didn't pick it up, so I assumed it was too heavy, but I didn't know.
Yeah.
So I just put it out there the next week and they took it.
I-
Go figure.
I've had recycling left behind for all kinds of reasons. So,
Yeah. All right, that's all I have.
all right,
Thank you.
thanks for listening.
Here.
Oh, you can leave it though, I've got some, thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Right, seeing no other members of the public present in person or online, we'll move to reports of representatives. We have Mary from the town and Ann from the county. And Mary is live, so we'll go to Mary first.
Okay. Yeah, so the town, the big issue at the town right now is we're thinking of consolidating the court and going from 2 justices to 1 justice. And so tomorrow night at our meeting, we're going to have a hearing on this so we can get feedback from the residents on this proposal. Due to several things, bail reform, the CAP court, which stands for centralized arraignment procedure, I think, or something like that. where there our judges have actually been a lot less busy, and also the revenue from the court system has fallen quite a bit over the past 8 years or so. So it isn't so. The idea is to go to one judge, which we can do at the end of Judge Slee's term, because he's not running again. And anyway, so it's a good time to consider this. We don't often get opportunities to save taxpayers' money, but we believe that, or at least I do, believe that we can save money without cutting back on the service that we provide to our residents, by going with one judge for the court. At one time, the village had their own court, and that was done away with, and all the cases were heard in the town court, and doesn't seem to have hurt the village at all. So anyway, we're having a hearing on that tomorrow. On the financial end, the town has been looking at a fund balance policy, so we can actually target what we will keep in fund balance, and not have too much of a variation from year to year. So the fund balance is collected taxpayer revenues that are not spent for the current year, and they're just held in our accounts in case we have an event or a unexpected expense, so that we don't have to borrow money. So we're looking at that, and also finally the Ag Committee has put up right to farm signs on the town of Ulysses signs on 89 and 96 and 227. And also the Bee City USA sign has gone up. So look for them on when you're driving into the town. And that's about all I have.
Any questions for Mary?
Mary, whatever happened to the supposed proposed barbecue place by Bar Angus? I see that's up for sale again. What happened with that?
I don't really know. I think I don't know. I'm trying to recall. I think I saw it maybe on Facebook, or I don't know. I can't really say. I think the purchase deal fell through.
Oh, okay.
I don't think it had anything to do with what happened in the town, although it is a development district, which there were a few questions around that, but we hadn't really.
So it didn't even get that far. Okay.
No, it did not. I don't think it even made it to the planning board.
Oh, that's too bad.
But we knew it was coming up, and we knew there was an issue with it being a development district. But we were hoping that it would actually, become a functioning business again.
Okay. Inquiring minds wanted to know.
Sure.
Any other questions for Mary? You just remove the re-levy.
Yeah, this is the wrong time.
All right, thank you, Mary.
You're welcome.
Ann. How are
I
you?
also, hi, everybody. I also have no update on Barangas, but if I do have a few other things I could report on. I'm on Swamp College, so it's kind of around the corner. Let's see. So as you know, and some of you participated, in the county, we had a meeting with many of the municipalities to talk about the, emergency services, that the county is providing. And, what came out of that meeting was there's not an appetite to cost share right now with the municipalities. And that it should be kept at the county, which, the cost, which I support. One thing that did come out, you might remember, is that, some folks thought that there should at least be an MOU to ask the municipalities to agree to maintain their current emergency services, which I can't remember, but somebody brought up the reason why the county is having to step in, and counties across the state are having to, provide more services, is because it's very difficult to maintain at the local level. So I would personally be against any MOU that the county would be pushing for to ask municipalities to maintain their level of services. I don't see how you could. Let's see what else. Excuse me. Oh, by the way, I'm not feeling too good, so probably after this, I'll turn off. I usually try to tune into the whole meeting, but I think I might tune out after this. And with the emergency services, we did receive $300,000 from Leah Webb's office for 2025. So 2026 services for that are covered, which there were about 600 and something $1,000. So that $300,000 grant, or allocation from Leah Webb's office will cover about half of our services for next year. And we are also applying for other grants we might be able to get to help cover that. We're hoping they're going to continue, at least for the short term. I imagine these will probably go away after a while, but who knows? I could be wrong. The park grants are open again, for the local municipalities. So that's $5,000, up to $5,000 you can apply for. And so I believe your farmer's market might be eligible for that. And why I say it's open again, we had one round, but we didn't use up all the money. So they're going to announce very soon that they're going to open it back up to municipalities again to use up that money. We've been having a lot of security issues at our shelter down in Ithaca. And so we've had to beef up the security of the building and also additional staff and a number of measures, unfortunately. And talking with CMC, the hospital, for the hospital and their other locations that they provide healthcare services for, they said they have also had increases, including pretty much daily assaults on their healthcare workers across the county, which is astounding and very, very scary trend. We are working on an anti-vaping campaign to geared towards the youth population. So, of course, we realize that even though it is illegal in the county now for youth to purchase vaping equipment, it's still getting out there in some ways. So we're really trying to have an anti-vaping campaign, as folks have probably seen. If you have kids or you've just seen youth or adults around, vaping is a very in trend, unfortunately. We have switching to assessments, property assessments, because we've had a lot of folks ask us about assessments and how they're calculated and if their assessments are accurate, things like that. And of course, it's also related to, the different budgets for the school, and all the municipalities. But we did a YouTube video. So if you go to the Tompkins County YouTube page, there's now a video you can direct people to on how assessments are calculated and how they relate to taxes. And speaking of taxes, the sales tax for the first quarter of the year, excuse me. For the county, it was down 2.14%. For the municipalities overall, it was down 2.57%, and that's both down from the first quarter of 2023. And one interesting note, because when I talk about the monthly sales tax, sometimes the state estimates the sales tax, and as you might know, especially before smart meters for your electricity, NICEAG would estimate, how much maybe every other month they would estimate. Well, some months, apparently the state estimates how much sales tax that we're supposed to be getting. And then they kind of catch it up. So it makes it hard to like follow a trend. But since we got the first quarter, that's more of a trend that we'll have to, be watching, is the quarterly or half year statements from the state. So being down 2.5%, is pretty significant from last year. Let's see what else. We are continuing to look at an additional emergency sheltering capability for the county, and we're looking at how to do it and what the costs are going to be, but it's probably going to cost a couple of $1 million. And that's just to build something, and then we're going to need staffing. And we haven't figured out what all those costs are, but there's probably anywhere from 80 to 150 people that once Code Blue mandatory sheltering ended, when the weather got a little warmer, that there were estimate 80 to like 150 people that don't have any place to go. So it's anyway, very disturbing to me to be figuring out or to see that, that people are doing various things, some of them living outside, couch surfing, anyway, or living in unsafe areas or not having shelter. There's more and more people in Ithaca that are trying to live in tents. And we've just started our budget season, which goes till about November. And so we had our first meeting. It's called our budget retreat. And we received a presentation and recommendations from our county administrator. And because a lot of different costs have been going up for folks in all different ways in the economy, we're at the county, we're trying to keep it as low as possible, any increase. So right now our target is 2%, is that we're gonna look for to see if we can somehow work that out, but it's going to be cutting some programs, cutting some staff possibly, but we're going to look at different creative ways we can do that. And as you know, the costs for everything keep going up, and staffing, supplies. I just bought a quart of paint down at Sherwin-Williams, a quart paint, $40, and it was like about 25 last year. Everything's going up. So we're going to do, we're going to see what we can do, but it's also hard because the area and folks are needing more services. And that's it.
Any questions for Ann?
Yeah, actually, and I had a question. I noticed in the state budget, there's new tax exemption possibilities for affordable multiple dwellings and accessory dwelling units. I don't know if that's been talked about at all, about at the county level, how municipalities can work with county assessment to think about adopting those.
No, I heard that too, and I don't know much about that, but let me think. I could bring that up in our HED meeting, our Housing Economic Development meeting, if you want.
Yeah,
And,
that'd be interesting for sure.
And I could bring up that exact topic to get more information on that, and what you said about like trying to see how local municipalities can take advantage of that, or at least first get more information on it. Maybe we can have somebody from the state come and talk to the various municipalities.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I seem to remember in times past, occasionally county assessment has put out a notification to municipalities say, hey, there's something you can adopt if you choose to. Here's what that would look like and how that works. I think there could be a role for the county to help people just become aware of it to start and see where people go with that.
Okay, yeah, and with a lot of the different state initiatives that they rolled out, or that they talked about and approved, hopefully with the state budget, and hopefully are going to be rolling them out would be the next step at some point soon. I'm hoping they're going to have folks go around the state, but we'll definitely be asking for them to come around and talk about all the different programs and things that they're doing, so we can take advantage of them.
Yeah, great. I'm keeping an eye out to see if NICOM does anything the same with like maybe model or resolutions or something like that. So if I see anything, I'll be sure to get in contact with you as well.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions for Ann? On the rapid medical response, Ann, I don't know if you've seen any data, but I did get an update this past Friday morning. So as of the 10th, so this is up to the end of the day of the Thursday, the 9th. So the first 38 days, there have been 110 calls to county EMS. Those would all be non-paramedic level rescue calls that they took. So that works out to almost 1,100 a year. So that's about right. When picking
Wow.
up
Yeah, thanks. I didn't see that. So is it 110 calls they actually took?
110 calls they took since inception.
Wow.
It's 38 days.
That's great. I met a good portion of the staff that was hired, and of course they overlap with a lot of different services that are already being provided because it doesn't pay a lot, so they often have 2 or 3 jobs. The folks, so some of them were from Trumansburg, and I don't want to say it's just because they don't pay a lot, but also a lot of people really love the work. So, but thanks for those stats. Seems like we need that program.
Seems so. All right, moving on to, and thanks, Ann. Moving on to reports from this board, just that document is not pulling up. I think there's a bad link at the end.
Are you talking about that?
Yeah, you just have to reload it. You have to resave it. Looks like the extension got deleted. So it's a dead document at the moment. Reports, starting with my own. We've mentioned garbage tags already, so just to recap, the village is changing its garbage contractor for the first time in about a little over a decade. That is effective the first Wednesday in June. Tags for the new contractor are available at the SureSave, the Main Street Market, or directly from Redline. Village office will have tags available for sale starting in July. So you'll have to get your June tags at the SureSave Main Street Market or directly from Redline. And Redline has agreed to honor Casella tags for the month of June only. After which only Redline tags will be accepted. The only other item I have is that our second monthly meeting falls squarely on Memorial Day. I'm assuming none of you want to meet on Memorial Day. And so we can either reschedule or we can just skip the second meeting.
We are going to need at least some budget modifications just to make it better, adjustments for some things for this to end this fiscal year that have to happen before May 31st. Then.
Anyone feel a strong need to have our second meeting in May?
No.
Memorial Day being the 27th. Our next meeting would be 2 weeks later because of where the calendar falls. We'd be meeting June the 10th, so we don't have a ton of time between that and our first meeting in June. Okay, if there's no strenuous objection, we will notice that the second meeting of the month has been canceled. So our next meeting after tonight will be June the 10th. And that's it for me for the moment. Fire, Marcia.
Yes. We had, I forgot my glasses. Going like this. We had, let me see. Got my notes here. One thing I do want to say is that the con breakfast was a success. They raised about $1,400 for that. So if anybody attended the con breakfast, thank you very much. They're coming to the end of the year for certain end items for the department. And they're working on a painting project and they are hoping to get the interior painted, and they did get 2 quotes for getting the interior painted. One was from the Wright brothers and one was from I wish I could see. The Wright brothers, and from Brush and Hammer. The Wright brothers was $8,600 and Brush and Hammers was $12,500. So so they would like to, if we could, move forward with approving the interior painting quote from Wright Brothers. That would be, you know, they remove all the outlets, they'd patch the cracks and holes, they'd sand all the trim, and they would be doing all of the interior for that amount of money, $8,500. So, and that would come out of the maintenance line budget. So I would like to move that the board approve the $8,500 from Wright Brothers Painting so that they could move forward with getting that painted.
Motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? If not, then all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
The new airbags finally showed up, finally a year later, as a part of the rescue tool fund. And the new positive pressure fan has been put into service and is working. And the training that they're working on now that the nice weather has come, they're brushing up on the rope training, preparing for gorge season. They have 2 new young members that are working on their final weeks of interior fighter certification at the Seneca County Training Center. And they will be doing new training on their new grip hoists. It's more high tech and it's much more, it's much stronger, and it's a longer system. And they got that through the rescue fund dollars as well. So, and they finished all of their OSHA mandated recertifications. I just wanted to mention that the golf tournament that they are having this year is on July 19th. And Matt Maraca is the contact person for that. And the proceeds from that tournament are going to go to the Letters from Santa for the Christmas program that they run. And they wanted to let everyone know that they are seeking donations for that. And if you would like to write a check to the Trumansburg Volunteer Fire Company, and that's P.O. Box 418. They would love to, if you didn't want to participate in the golf tournament, but still wanted to send a donation, you could send a check to them. So other than that, that's all I have.
Okay. No EMS youth stat report tonight as Ben Carpenter's not here. DPW water sewer CPTR and farmers market.
Yes, so briefly on the farmer's market, it's here. It's, well, I mean, I guess they do it year round now, but it's at the market. It's the summer one. Go. It's a great time. Lots of good vendors. That's all. CPZR, not much else to report. We're continuing to work through Main Street zoning. The big things I do have a report on are DPW water and sewer, so 2 items on the agenda. I'll actually start maybe with the sewer capital charge. So this is the last scheduled increase to a longer project to get both water and sewer rates in line with actual costs. So the water and sewer funds have to cover their own operating costs from the annual or the bi-monthly charges that we send out. And so we've been on a multi-year process at this point to get a better handle on long-term maintenance costs and build that into the cost structure, and also understand our loan repayment costs and all these sorts of things. And so this is where we've been seeing increases in water fees and fee structure, as well as sewer fee structure. And the last bit of that is to increase the sewer capital charge to $24.90 per EDU. And that has been on the village website for some time, stating that they will go up, and the plan has been for that to start with the bills that go out in July. So I would move that we increase the per EDU charge for sewer to $24.90 per EDU for the bills that go out in July.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any questions or comments? Just to reiterate what Ben said, this is the last piece of effectively the sewer retrofit renovation that began in what, 2014? Completed in 2018. There were some charge increases that we delayed during 2020. So now we're finally getting caught up. We have a motion and a second to bring the sewer capital charge up to previously disclosed number. If there are no other questions or comments, all in favor of adopting the sewer capital charge increase, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
And then the other part was in the Dropbox. You'll find a Camden contract, which is 60I. This is a new contract that Camden sent to us for their contract starting in June 2024. I did take a moment to review this compared to the 2017 contract, which I think is the last time we had a renewed contract with them. I may have missed one in between, but that's the last one I've seen. It's substantially the same contract. Really, the largest change is in rates, just as rates are always going up. So this would increase their rate from this past year by 3.2%, or about $264.50 per month, or give or take. And then bakes in a rate increase every year after that as the greater of 3% or CPI, whichever is larger, greater of. So we kind of have an option ahead of us. I did talk with Dusty, and he said he's satisfied with Camden. Doesn't see the need to change, but also wouldn't be opposed to going out to bid if we wanted to. So the question I want to bring it here, having just gone through the rebid process with our garbage, is if we'd like to simply renew with Camden or take this as an opportunity to go out to bid. I don't have a strong opinion either which way. I'm happy to hear kind of what other people on the board have to say. So I guess I'll just kind of open it up for conversation.
I just think that's a long time to not go up for bid. I think if there's an opportunity to bid it out, we should at least throw it out there. Nobody bids, great. If somebody does, it'd be nice to see if there's a competitive.
How long have we been working in Camden?
At least since 2017. I don't know. That's that point, that's before my time on the board. I don't know, Rory, do you have any recollection?
And the last time the bid went out?
I think it was 17. We had significant issues with the previous contractor. And so we went to bid. I think it was 17. Could it have been before that? I don't think it was before that, because it was. Pay the contractor during the construction. It wasn't 17, and it was a 3-year going back to 14. I don't remember. I'd have to look it up. But that would have been the last time we bid it. And I don't recall that we regularly bid the sewer plant prior to that. I think it was specifically because of some significant service issues and dissatisfaction with the previous contractor that we bid at that time. And we haven't rebid it since.
The 2017 did have a fee structure for the next 5 years. That's just a point of information. This is a little less specific about each 5 years. I guess it does say this term is for 5 years as well. But I think they both have a termination policy of like 90 days of prior notice, so there's more flexibility than just that.
Have fees gone up significantly over time?
Uh,
I'm looking at the ledger.
oh, thank you, yeah.
So the first payment that I have in this ledger, just saying that, was 7,200 in 2018 July. And the next time that increased from that was to be 7,400 in April of 2020. And the last payment on this ledger is at 8,000, which is where we are,
And this,
2023. And that's.
Yeah.
you got it.
and let me look at the quote. I had thought I saw a charge for 8,268.
Yeah.
And so now, and then this contract would bring that to 8,532. So it's going up $200-300 every year. Per month. That's the per month cost. So every year, times that by 12 to get there.
Have there been any significant issues with that particular vendor?
No, the only, we had an operator from Camden that we really liked, and he's no longer with Camden. I don't know what the circumstances were there, so we've got a new crew in the past year or so. I think we really like the last guy. The new crew has been fine. That's really the only status up there. Yeah, they do the job, they get the job done. So we haven't had anything bad along that lines that I'm aware of.
I mean, my opinion would be that unless there was any significant issues, that we just continue with this new vendor.
For some reason, was I under the impression, and it could be an incorrect impression, that we are obligated to bid out contracts like of that size?
We are obligated to bid it if we want to make a change. We can't simply pick to change.
Okay, gotcha.
We can't simply say we don't want to go with this group, we want to go with that group.
Okay,
If we choose to make a change, we have to bid it.
okay,
That's the law. The law says we have to bid it if we want to make a change.
okay. I guess that's how I would,
There's no statute that governs how often we should bid it.
oh, gotcha.
It's
Okay.
considered a best practice depending on the service. Short-term stuff bid every 3 to 5, long-term stuff bid every 8 to 10. I mean, it's kind of depends on the service of the municipality and what's out there.
I have no opinion one way or another.
We didn't bid garbage for 10 years because there was no other provider.
Right,
Casella bought the other provider. So
Right.
there's no one to bid. I'm not opposed, I'm never opposed to bidding something out if we feel like we want to, test the market. As long as there's not going to be any disruption in the meantime. On the other hand, if Dusty's happy, then that carries a lot of weight since it's
Yeah,
mhm,
his headache if something goes wrong.
right. The other thing is and maybe this would have been useful information to come in with, but I'm not aware of what that market looks like. I don't know really who else is out there not that that has to be a defining part of this decision, but you know, if we're just gonna get one other person or nobody else, doesn't really seem a lot of worth the effort. I think I would also lean towards not bidding unless there was some other sort of motivating reason. But yeah, I can hold that lightly.
Okay, I don't have an opinion one way or another. I mean, if we're happy and we're not under obligation to bid and we're happy with the service and. I mean, there's lots of sewer plants in the world, so there's gotta be somebody running them, but.
Tend to lean on Dusty's preference.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, and that's why I was glad I asked him, and he seemed to, you know, say he'd be happy to see it continue on. And looking, like I said, I don't know if the 2017 if it matters at this point, but either which way, I think we're probably at this point, because we're halfway through May and looks like actually it says a June 1, 2024, but yeah, all right, we got June. A June start date. I think we'd be in this situation of signing the contract anyhow, and if we wanted to go to bid, we'd go to bid and then have to give 90 days notice and then come back around. So in some ways, it may not, it's probably not really related in some ways. I mean, it's a reason to bring up the conversation, but I do think we probably have to renew. It sounds like it might automatically renew anyhow, but it'd be worth signing it and making it official. And we can always come back at this if we want to and decide to go out to bid. And if we find make a different choice, we can give our 90 days notice.
so I have a question, and I think this kind of came in the periphery too. And it was something I didn't have an answer to, and I haven't had time to look it up, but it just seems like by the time we get the bid and get it in under that budget year, like the window is, we have very limited time to make a decision. I think that's why the garbage brouhaha became what it was, because it just ended up like not being enough time from the time that we bid it out to the time that we had to make a decision and the changeover came.
Right, yeah.
Is there something that we can change that so it gives us more time before that
Well-
June 1st deadline?
I mean, I think it's just on us to decide to go out to bid, put it on the calendars to go out to bid. You know,
It's
in
dependent on
January.
whatever we budget.
Right,
That's true, right? If we want to budget around it, then we should go out to bid earlier in that year, right?
right.
When we're starting.
I guess that's my question, is like if we thought we,
Right,
might be in the wheelhouse of changing any service one way or another, we might make sure we're a little bit more.
Depends on the service. I mean, we would never have bid the garbage earlier than we did. We were 100 days ahead of schedule. Right? We're not gonna bid garbage in November for a June change. Because none of the contractors are gonna know what the county's tag costs are.
Oh, that's true.
So, I think this would be tight to bid sewer with
Right.
19 days to go. Garbage was bid on time and transition will.
I think it just came about being concerning to people just because we didn't have that problem before, because when we had alternative waste services, Casella bought them. So there was no, Right.
We bid when AWS won the bid in 2012. It was a 20-day notification, no tag coverage. So it was, here's your new garbage contractor, get your new tags. But we also didn't have social media or website.
oh, it's true.
Already-
Darn it. Can we just shut down
People
the,
discovered when their trash didn't get picked up one thing.
Right. Right.
And that's still what the city of Ithaca does. That's still what other municipalities do. Change a contractor, you'll figure it out when your garbage doesn't get picked up. So I think the fact that if we made a mistake, it was in providing too much information too soon. Because that gives people time
freak out.
to worry. For the sewer plant. Again, I'm not opposed to bidding something. To save users money, but if the time frame doesn't work, then it doesn't work.
Well,
And
so,
again, I'm actually more interested in Dusty's satisfaction
yeah.
level. Than any of the other considerations.
Let's do this. So I think either which way, like I was saying, I think we have to. I would suggest authorizing Gordon to sign, which I can do in a second, and then I'll just keep it as kind of a regular check-in with Dusty, every 6 months, every year, something like that, just to make sure that he's still feeling good about how it's operating, and if that ever deviates, we can have a different conversation.
Okay. It sounds like the best way to go.
So then with that, I would move that we authorize Rorden to sign the Camden contract for wastewater treatment management services.
Sounds like a motion. Do we have a second? Any additional comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, anything else?
That is it for me.
DPW. Okay. Police, Joanna.
Yay. So I have met with Chief Nelson a few times since starting on the board, so, we have plenty of time together. Some of the things, most recently, I guess, as far as, let me find this report. So his service calls report, criminal investigations, 1 burglary, 2 harassments, 3 motor vehicle crash investigations. Non-criminal investigations, 51 property checks, 1 welfare check, 2 mental health, 3 overdose EMS assist, 10 officer initiated B&T stops, 6 uniform traffic tickets, 4 parking complaints, and 21 informational inquiries or background checks. 118 call services in April, and none were outside of the village. So that is from Chief Nelson. Then in just talking to him, we did talk about, so we did get an awards letter today, which is the most recent thing, is that there was a grant that he had actually applied for, Division of Criminal Justice Services Law Enforcement Technology grant. And the village received $90,000 for that. So I'm sure we will be talking about what that would cover. But with that, we also talked about some ways to actually upgrading and updating just the office in general. So some of the things that we talked about was, changing the carpet, painting the walls, but then also some security, I guess issues came up, where, if you first go into the office, you can just walk in any direction, whether or not there's somebody walking in the front door. So, looking at ways to be more efficient, more secure, and then also modernize. So maybe looking at some kind of project going forward. Which makes sense. I don't think that office has changed much, and the things that they've added to it, they've kind of just added to it. It's just like, me having my 1860s house and then trying to bring it up to date. So that's kind of what they're doing too. So, I'm thinking that maybe we need to decide and figure out for the next budget season or the one after that, how to get our police department more modern. But as far as like just making it look nice, like what do we have to do that?
Well, I can say from talking with Dusty and Clinton at DPW, who've been doing a lot of the front office work. It's mostly about starting that conversation with them. Clinton's real good for thinking through, what does this actually look like? What does this mean? What's the scope of the work? I've talked to them a couple times. I've run into Chief, just around town. He's brought it up to me before. For them, winter time is ideal if they can do it between snow and snow situations, but they're not doing a lot of outside work at that point. The summer and spring into the fall, well, springtime is a lot of project work. Summer and fall end up being a lot of project work as well, along with mowing lawns and picking up brush and so forth. So winter's the best time for that. My sense from talking with Clint is that things like reworking some of that front entrance way seemed pretty reasonable to him. I think he was a bit more concerned about carpet and paint, as Jessica, right? I'm trying to remember who's who now. As Jessica can point out, carpet, you're out of that space, and I don't know how they would intend to operate the police department in that situation. So that's a little bit of logistics for maybe Chief to kind of think about how can they. I don't know if there's a way to kind of split it into halves or something, like they work out of different areas. I don't know what that looks like, but that would be a logistics part to overcome. But I think there's parts of it that can probably be done and they can work around them while they're in the office, and parts of it where it's going to be a lot more difficult. And I'll have to figure out how to still operate as a station while trying to do some of that work. But I would suggest that DPW Chief work with DPW kind of directly and try and come up with some sort of a plan and a budget. We can take it from there.
Okay.
That might just have to be something that we contract. Get a carpet contractor in there for 2 days, just be done.
Okay.
Certainly save money by having Dusty and Clinton do it, and they do a great job, but if there's a water main break or it snows, they'll have to stop.
Mhm.
Whereas the carpet contractor or the flooring contractor, whatever type of flooring it is, if they schedule especially if they'll do a weekend, if they schedule a Friday, Saturday, and they just come in and knock it out, then that'll be easiest on the department.
Mhm.
Painting, probably they can work around. Maybe.
Painting might be a little easier, but it doesn't smell great while you're in there, so you got to work around that. But
I love this.
I'm sure you like how it makes you feel afterwards.
Oh,
not sure OSHA loves that. It seems.
I don't know. That may be a work hazard.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Chief and Clinton or whoever can come up with a conceptual design of what he would like.
Yeah. In the meantime, I mean, he showed me around and I definitely agree that there are things that really do need to be addressed, and it's just not, not just putting an extra door or painting. So yeah. But just redesigning the whole thing. All right. One of the things that he brought up, which was odd, is that there's a locker room, but there's no separation of gender, which is an issue. So that would definitely have to be addressed. Like things like that should be addressed.
Yeah.
Not sure how
Same
yet.
issue we have in fire hall.
Let's see. It's also designated a historical building, so I don't know how that would affect any type of modernization.
Shouldn't inside. Because it's we'd have to double check on that, but I don't think it's on the national register. So
no.
Oh, okay.
It would have to be on the national
internal
register.
changes are fine.
Oh.
We can always double check.
See. A couple of things. So just spending down some of the rest of the budget, purchasing additional pedestrian buddies, which get run over by 18-wheelers all the time. which is why they're usually in the corner. Um,
See,
yeah, but then nobody can see them. And then apparently some people take it upon themselves to move them as well, which you shouldn't really do. Actually, you shouldn't do it all. So that's an issue. Also a purchase of a radar, an additional radar, speed sign, traffic controller. Let's see. So those are like a couple of things. One thing that we talked about were phone calls and just some of the things that come in as calls before, or actually at a while after an incident. And during the short time that I've been here, I don't understand why you would wait to call the police if your intention is to report something to the police. You should report to the police as soon as you see an incident or and then some of those issues have also been, which I find interesting because I think we have really great neighbors. So some of these incidents are just go talk to your neighbor. Like, why can't you, if something is blocking your driveway, if somebody's truck is blocking your driveway because they're trying to move things in and out, why can't you talk to your neighbor? And ask them to move while you're trying to get out of your house. Like, I don't understand why you would call the police for that. But those calls do come in. And just calling when there's an actual emergency, like when that thing is happening, not calling 3 days later to check, is it considered an emergency? Was something that Chief Nelson really reiterated. And then there was one more thing that I wanted to talk about, but I cannot find it. So, oh yeah, we did a drug take back day. So that was something that was all of New York State that Ben Darfler actually sent me an email on. And we did participate during that time. And 5 people did drop off their expired prescription drugs during that time. And another reminder that the police station is always open to take those drugs at any time. It doesn't have to be that particular day. And the 5 people that dropped off are people that he constantly sees. So he thought that it was interesting that they didn't necessarily know that the police department takes your drugs at any time. So something to note which I know a lot of people walk around here. So if you're walking past the police station, that might be a good time to drop off discarded prescriptions. And that is it for now.
okay. Treasurer's office.
There's gonna be one role in clerk treasurer's.
Rolling report.
Starting with new things, which I'll be getting a new carpet, and ending actually with the new carpet. So the new carpet is in the office renovation, and maintenance is complete with the exception of 2 doors. So we'll get to that. It was a pleasure working with the DPW, and because our office was flexible enough to be able to work remotely, it's not huge inconvenience. And we have a new deputy clerk, treasurer, who began today. Jessica Weber did a fantastic job. I did not invite her to come tonight. It was her first day. We expect to see her next meeting, and then as is the policy for past deputies, if she chooses to come, but it's not necessarily required. Although I will train her to be able to take minutes should I need to not be here. What else is there? Oh, the annual water quality report was published, and this year, last year I discovered that you can put a URL for its visibility on the postcard water bill that goes out, which is what most municipalities do. So you don't have to spend $900 for a service mailing, although most people don't need. But they can get it in hard copy at the village offices. They can get it in hard copy while it lasts in the public library. And it is viewable on the website, the news post, and uploaded to the newsletter. So it's huge, time saving. Side note to that, or adjacent to that really is, we mail out 835 water bills. So many accounts we have, 518 of those individual accounts have signed up to email bills, which is about 61%. So as you're tracking the online reality, 61% of our residents who have water sewer services use their services online. Other new things, there will be a new youth employee coming from the time this season, summer. We had one last year, it was great. So that will begin. And we will, I see in my new stats about the red line postcard I'm here before, would like that to be mailed this week. I do encourage you to comment on the draft sent out Friday or last week to see if you like the language, and I'll make sure the mayor sees a final draft. The Winter Fest was awarded the Tompkins County Tourism Branch again this year. So good job to Cindy and Anita for getting that application in. They were awarded $900 for that. And the yard sale happened. And that happened. Hardly any paper copies were picked up of the 150 I printed. But they were there. They were online. And I think again, more recognition that there are more residents who go online than in the past, and still in the these things are available for copy. That's it. I do have one bit of business request, which is the appropriate time or is it later on?
Sure.
Okay, so in the Dropbox, you should be able to see an updated, if you want to see the associated tax parcels with the it's $59,692.50 of outstanding water and sewer rents and arrears with associated parcels inside the village, which with this board's approval and somebody's motion second, I would like to see as the town as a tax collector re-levy tax bill to go out and shoot. Then that sum of unpaid water and sewer by inside users is $59,602.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to re-levy unpaid water and sewer bills totaling $59,692.50 onto the appropriate village tax bills in June. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor of re-levying these charges, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay,
Then I'll just close my report by saying that a reminder, because anyone listens to this recording, that the way that is levied, it's based on $250 or more outstanding as of April 30th. It does not reflect the May billing and is intentionally designed by the board to be that way. So everyone make sure you're concerned about re-levy that, and I sent a notice out every year, same deadline, pay your water bill by April 30th. And then the mayor will be issuing a tax warrant to on June 1st. So we can expect tax bills to come out in the mail the week of June 1st to be paid by the Monday, July 1st. So you can see that, and we have
you'll have that ready to sign next week.
yeah, for this, actually, because I need to send that to maybe this week when you come to me in person again. I think that's it. Does anyone have any questions? I will
Appreciate all your work.
Yeah. It's been a long 5 years.
Yes, I imagine it has been.
Sides.
I don't want you to think it goes unappreciated because it does.
I appreciate it, and the support of my colleagues in the office has been tremendous too. So thank you.
Stop in this week,
Wednesday, Thursday,
probably Wednesday.
excellent.
And I'll just need that garbage contract at that time as well.
Okay, yep.
Okay, speaking of which, old business, first item is, we need a resolution authorizing me to sign the garbage contract with Red Line pursuant to their bid. With one change being the per tag price per Tompkins County, going to $1.30 per tag. And so I would entertain a motion to authorize me to sign that contract.
So
Second.
Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next item of old business is everybody's favorite, the chicken law. Chicken law originally passed in 2013.
I think I'm just gonna make it very simple.
We haven't had any substantive changes since. Total of, we still only have, we don't have full 15 permits, I don't think. Rules surrounding application fee, rules surrounding what's allowed. This was renewed in, I believe, 2018. And we simply, I think we were supposed to have renewed it at the end of last year and we didn't, so. By resolution, we can renew it for another 5 years, so this would be until 2028, since we should have done it in 23. And so I would entertain a motion to renew and extend the pre-existing village rear yard and side yard chicken rules and regulations.
Never in the front yard.
No.
That's just.
Yeah.
And would someone like to move?
Yes. I would like to move.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion on the second to extend this through the end of 2028. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any other items of old business? Do we have any items of new business? Any public comment for our second public comment period?
The city. I'm concerned on South Street with what's happened to the safe school sidewalks been torn up. And now I'm seeing children walking in the road again. So I'm concerned about that because the traffic on South Street and Wake Street is quite heavy during the beginning of the school hours. And those children walking in the streets, a dangerous situation. And the street, South Street is also a pretty big mess, being torn up by all the trucks going through. And so who pays to have the sidewalk repaired and the streets repaired?
Contractor.
The contractor, okay. Then the other concern that I had, which Tom explained to me, but I think should go on the record, is at 5, as early as 4:30 in the morning, 5:30 in the morning, there's big supply trucks go down South Street. Literally, you know, my house is right on the sidewalk. It rattles the whole house. I didn't complain because what's the point, you know, kind of thing. But he did say, Tom said that he met with the contractors and said that there is to be no work started and no deliveries before 7 a.m. And I certainly hope that that will continue because it has been quite a disruption to have that traffic starting at 5:30 in the morning. That's all.
Have you noticed any improvement since you spoke with Tom and he spoke with?
Well, that was yesterday. I did not wake up at 5:30. He said he made it very clear that the trucks are not, I guess they didn't consider that work. They considered that delivery. But those are gigantic trucks that make a lot of racket, you know, that go there. Literally shakes the house.
Well, if you would let us know, certainly in the next
will.
week or two,
If things continue,
things
you
have
know,
not
continues.
improved.
Okay, that's all. And I am really concerned about the kids in the street.
Thanks, Janice.
No, I don't, none.
It looks like it. No other members of the public present. Do we have need of an executive session? Sure. I would entertain a motion to go into executive session for conversation about pending legal action.
I was gonna say, I expected, it was more than that. So moved.
Second,
All in favor?